The KDKA Sports Desk is brought to you by Xfinity.
All right, welcome back. Xfinity Sports Desk here tonight as we talk about the situation with the Steelers. They're going to take on Cincinnati this Monday night with a new tight end. His name is Nick Vanek, and he comes over here from Seattle, and he will likely be the starter in that department. Also, Pitt is taking on Delaware. That's a game that could be problematic just because Delaware really has nothing to lose, and Pitt's coming off two very highly emotional games. And the Penguins, one more preseason game, and the next thing you know, they're opening the season next Thursday night. So, Paul, I want to talk to you first about the Steelers game. It's a must-win. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But if they do win and they follow up with another win, boy, things shift quickly in football. And you never, a lot of people want to come to a foregone conclusion the season's already over. If they win two in a row, both at home against two teams in their division, all of a sudden, not only would they be likely tied with the Ravens or whomever, but they'll have tiebreakers in hand on those teams.
Well, yeah, I think the big thing is just getting a win. You're playing a bad team on Monday. Some would say, well, the Steelers are bad, but I think they're better than the Bengals. You're at home. You get that win. Now you come back the next week, you play the Ravens. You win that game, and all of a sudden your season starts to change a little bit. And if you look, I think they play the Chargers or somebody like that, but they've got like a 6-game stretch where it's like twice against the Browns, the Bengals, the Dolphins. There's like 6-game stretch coming up where they could realistically win all 6, and if they do, that puts them right back into it. I just think that they've got to get a win, though. They've got to have a game against the Bengals here where
everything clicks.
Just sort of everything, you know what I mean? They've been like maybe a little bit off in a lot of different areas. But if it all clicks, then all of a sudden maybe there's some confidence and everything else going into the next week.
But the problem right now is their offense. You have a rookie quarterback. You have a new tight end who's never played here. You have a run game that hasn't been good. The offensive line has struggled, I think, in that run game and specifically blocking. And the wide receiving situation, there is no separation. Other than that, things are great. The offense has issues. They need to straighten those out pretty quickly, and we'll see what they do coming up here on Monday night. In the meantime, let's go out to Paul in the north side. What's up, Paul? How are you?
Oh, I'm okay.
Good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just calling about Steelers. I think my friends we were talking about, they need a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. They're using plays and stuff from back 10 years ago.
All right. Paul, what do you say about that?
I think that this is a big year for Randy Fichtner. Let's find out if he can actually coordinate offense or not without Ben Roethlisberger, basically. The other thing is Keith Butler, the thing that's tough is how much of it is him and how much of it is Tomlin on defense. To me, the biggest problem is, and this probably speaks to both of them, the biggest problem is the scheme they've been using, it's just old. It's tired. I think it's stale. I think teams have kind of figured it out a little bit. So they need to figure out ways to tweak it and change it a little bit so that it's not so predictable. I think one of the things I read last year, one of those, anonymous head coaches talk about teams and stuff, and one of them, their comment was that the Steelers are the most predictable team in the league.
Well, that doesn't reflect well on coaching then.
Exactly.
All right, we have a lot of tweets, and I want to get some of them in. This is from Jeff Stager. Thanks, Jeff, for the tweet. He says, if Clint Hurdle loses his coaching job and Joe Madden gets fired from the Cubs, do you think the Pirates would be okay with hiring Joe Madden as their manager? The answer would be no, because Joe Madden doesn't want this job. I can assure you of that. Joe Madden, when he left Tampa, was saying, I'm only going to go where I can be part of the haves, not the have-nots. I remember that distinctly, so the answer would be no, nor probably should they.
You know where Joe Madden could end up?
San Francisco.
There, or how about the Phillies?
The Phillies, I never thought about
the Phillies have a lot of money, and they're going to spend more money this offseason, and they're going to get rid of Gabe Kapler, because if they don't, then I don't know what they're trying to do out there, but there's a team he could go to.
Pete in the Squirrel Hill area. What's up, Pete?
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
We're good, thanks.
Hey, Bob, one comment and a question, please. I overheard you guys talking during the break. If Garrett Cole chooses the Angels over the Dodgers, he must have the same psychiatrist as Antonio Brown. But anyway, Bob, this crazy...
Yeah, but money is money. I think at this point, don't you think, Pete, he's after money? Wherever he can get the most, he's going to go.
Yeah, but the Dodgers, Bob, they're endless pockets, man. He can get this, $10 million maybe less over a contract and have a chance to go to the playoffs every single year.
Can you imagine him with Ryu, Kershaw?
Right.
I mean, they got...
In the talent in the minor leagues about to introduce itself to their, their roster in the majors.
Right.
But, Bob, my question is about this wacky sports world we live in. It seems to me that if you're successful in being a coach or a manager, it's like it shortens your lifespan with the organization. Look what happened to Frank Cohn in Boston. He wins 2 world championships, he gets axed. They bring the guy in to replace him. He wins a world championship, he gets axed. Okay, they win it last year, the GM gets axed. Then you have guys like, Marvin Lewis that lasted 16 years in Cincinnati, never winning one playoff game. And it's stuff that, it's like if you win, it like shortens your career with the organization.
Well, there's got to be personality issues going on. Thanks for the call, Pete. And Paul, I'd have to say, right now, Boston is a job I don't think many people want to go to, because if they're going to react every year, win a championship one year, next year all of a sudden GM's gone, they fired Dombrowski.
Yeah.
I didn't find any reason for them to do that.
Well, he apparently, I guess, rubbed people the wrong way.
Okay, if it's a personality thing, that's different.
That was a big part of it.
But it still sends the wrong message for anyone who wants to go there. You may have a very short leash. Look at Joe Madden. He's had nothing but real success in Chicago.
Right.
They haven't had that kind of success in the last how many years? Decades, right? So now he has one bad year where they collapse at the end, and all of a sudden that'll be it probably for him.
Yeah, and it's partly a personality thing too. But the other part of it is him and Theo Epstein don't get along, don't see eye to eye, get along. I mean, Joe Madden is a very arrogant guy, and wants a lot of the credit. But I think the other part of it is Joe Madden. He doesn't like. He's not a big fan of it. He said it. All these like young whiz kid GMs, guys that aren't baseball guys. He's not a big fan of that, right?
They're everywhere right
So I don't know where he's going to go work where they don't have that. That's the problem.
Let's go to Ron in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Hey, Ron.
Hey, guys.
Go right ahead.
My question is, do you think the Pirates will be better next season?
No. Do you?
Unless they spend some money and get some new players.
See, I would like to find out, thanks, Ron, what their plan will be here. Because it's not like they have a minor league system bereft of talent.
Yeah.
Or, a surplus of talents. They're bereft of talent. They don't have a lot of guys. We've seen a revolving door of pitchers. How many have come up here? And those are the top guys right now at the AAA level, right?
Yeah.
Who else is going to come up here and all of a sudden turn into, give me a name. Who's that Dodger pitcher who's been really good this year? He almost threw a no-hitter. His name escapes me at this point. He's a right-hand pitcher. Really good, young kid. He may be their best pitcher. But anyway, the point is, do they have that? No.
Yeah.
If you're going to bring back the same people and expect different results, this could be a problem. That's why they have to spend. But everyone on the free agent market, Paul, if you looked at it, is going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to spend, though, what are we talking about here? And they might go to, they might basically turn over third base to somebody like a Brian Hayes. But other than that, what do you got? That's the problem. That's why this front office needs to go.
We'll find out. Something should be coming up, you would think, on Monday or Tuesday. And it'll probably be, as Paul said, during the Steelers Open.
8:23 Monday.
We'll take a break. More of your calls on the way at 412-575-2600 right here on Pittsburgh CW.
What food gets you in the mood?